What's going on, everyone? American Leeds, the American Leeds YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing well. And we're getting some tasty EFL championship fixtures underway with the upcoming match on Friday. I am so excited. Can't wait to kick this the season back on. The international break has been dreadful. So cheers to all of you. And yesterday is history, tomorrow is unknown, and today is a gift. So cheers to all of you out there. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It's early. It's the wee hours of the morning across the pond to my friends in Leeds, in Yorkshire, in the Beeston neighborhood. I hope you're all doing well. And for Leeds United fans around the world, we are here. We are the mighty whites. So, yeah, on the eve, I guess we are the eve of the match kicking off on Friday. So I'm super excited. Look, want to talk about Aaronson. I want to talk about this is going to be like just my live reaction to Daniel Farker press conference. I didn't watch it today, didn't have time to, so it'll be interesting to see what he says, who's available, who's healthy. There's rumors of additional midfielders, so this is all exciting to me. And big game. Farka's got a lot to do. Aaronson basically 24 hours ago from right now was playing a match. He played 70 minutes, and the U.S. fans and U.S. media has slagged him off. He has been uh, just, I mean, it sounds like a lot of the criticisms that we give him at Leeds, but like the U.S. team, I guess, was not at full strength. I don't really care about that, but he did get 70 minutes under Pochettino. Mexico beat the United States, which hasn't happened for a long time. Actually, quite honestly, the only thing that U.S. has done in international football is beat Mexico. That's all they've really done. So Mexico had their revenge in a friendly and beat the United States in Mexico. And Aaronson, well, let's just say he didn't have too great of a game, according to a lot of the U.S. fans. And I just, was going on Twitter. What did we think? Just type in Aaronson, and it's like 11 Yanks, which is a pretty big USMNT side. Said, injuries aside, I don't give a flying you know what if Gio isn't playing for Dortmund. He is the one of a very small group of players that consistently delivers for the U.S. Aaronson, Tillman have not impressed. I am so far out on Aaronson, says this account. Please don't bring him back to the next camp. I'd rather see his brother at this point. This gentleman named Jeff says the midfield is non-existent for the United States men's national team. Aaronson has to come off at some point. He needed to realize that none of those fouls he's expecting are going to be called and aren't going to be given. Sounds a little familiar. I cannot remember the last time Brendan Aaronson had a good game in a USMNT shirt. At some point, that has to matter, right? That was Kyle, a gentleman named Kyle. Let's see what else we got. SOF is the account. State of football. Brendan Aaronson offers nothing. His first touch is poor. His 1v1 ability isn't there. He doesn't have ability in tight spaces. You could get 5 other players that just press. He should not be in the final 26 for 2026, obviously referring to the World Cup. This isn't Poch really started Aaronson over Haji, says this fan, and obviously very upset at that. Kind of more of the same from Aaronson at that point. So he had a rough game. 24 hours ago, he was running around the pitch in, I think, Guadalajara. I think it was the west coast of Mexico. So that means he probably gone on a plane the next morning. So he is just maybe now, earlier tonight or this morning, will be landing in Leeds, or coming back to Manchester, whatever airport he's choosing to come into. And so he's what, 36 hours away from a football match, maybe one of the biggest matches of the year, and he's probably pretty jet lagged. I would consider not even starting him, quite honestly. I don't think. I think Farka will wind up playing him, but I mean, tactically, how much can he give you? I thought he does. Quite honestly, went missing for me a lot in the final third. And hold on, I'm getting additional audio in my background, but I would consider maybe not starting him, um, and seeing what he can give you maybe off the bench. I don't know who you play in the 10. It depends on who's healthy. With that, let's listen to the pre-match conference with Daniel Farka, and see what he has to say. What say you, Daniel Farka, leader of our football club, the Mighty Whites? What will you say? What good news will you bring us today ahead of one of the biggest matches of the year, Sheffield United?
Well, have you had a good rest?
Well, rest is a bit overrated. So we have also worked in the last couple of weeks, but yes, it was good to have at least a few days off, and I'm in a good place.
Before we talk Leeds in detail, can I just ask you about today's big story regarding both German and English football? Because Thomas has the England job. What do you make of the news?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to Thomas. Also, congratulations to England.
Oh, they're starting off with that news. They just want the quote for Thomas Tuchel. I think he's a good man. I think he's a good hire, but I mean, he's okay. He probably will play well, good tournament football.
Because I think he's a top solution. It's his CV speaks for itself. He's a world-class coach. He has coached Borussia Dortmund, has coached Paris Saint-Germain, was in charge for Chelsea, was in charge for Bayern Munich. So lots of experience. He won the German title. He won the German Cup. He won the French title. He won the French Cup. He was the only manager who led Paris Saint-Germain to a Champions League final. And he's won the Champions League final with Chelsea. So he's a top draw solution. And for that, I think a really, really good solution.
You sound like his agent.
No, it's just being realistic. So he knows the English football. He knows the English players. I think it's for all parties a really good solution. Yes, I've worked pretty close also with Thomas when we both were in charge for Borussia Dortmund, and for that I know him also a little bit. I also know that he appreciates this job and will give his very, very best. And believe me, he has so much quality. I think it's a really good solution. And yeah, my fingers are crossed for him, and also that he can create something special.
What gives you the belief that it is such a good solution?
Yeah, first of all, his quality.
I mean, where is this guy from, right? Where is this journalist from? This guy has got to be from, like, it's some national publication, because this does not sound like a regular Leeds United reporter. Just here to get the Tuchel quote.
Qualities as a manager, that's the most important topic. And also his knowledge and also experience. You need a bit of experience once you want to work with such a group of high quality players. It's quite important. I think it's also important for him that he has worked in England and also knows a bit about the mentality and the football culture. Obviously, also the language. So for that, it's quite important, and for that, I think it's a really good solution.
I've heard that the scenario is that he's got 16 games to win England the World Cup, which sounds quite a pressurized situation. Is he a coach that will relish that?
Yes, absolutely. Thomas is always competitive and a big competitor, and he rises.
It's like they went around and said, okay, where's the German managers in the country? Okay, Farka's got a presser coming up here tomorrow or today. Let's send a journalist out there to get the Tuchel quotes from Daniel Farka, because he's a countryman.
Always do the challenge. I think, especially for such a project, he's a top choice.
there'll be a little bit of concern, and I've heard it on radio channels today, that it's a German taking over England. Will you be bothered by that, do you think?
I don't believe too much in this passport debate. If I'm really honest, perhaps it has something to do that I'm only a bit longer in England here than Thomas was, and
this guy's got one more question, and I'm gonna fast forward this. I can't believe they're allowing this to go on. This should be 2 to 3 questions max. This should not be a full interview. Bring the guy aside, ping Leeds United, and talk about, hey, I want to do a feature on Thomas Tuchel. Don't have this just constant. I just disagree with this. Like, this should have been, you have 2 questions.
always speak about England. It's also my second home, and to know that also the English mentality, especially also in the football culture, is so close together. I think we would have the same debate in Germany a little bit if someone from abroad would overtake our German national team. Because then there's always a bit the debate if we leave too many top drawers. So for that, my fingers
Work here at Leeds?
Not directly, because really good choice for England, and he has all chances to shine.
While we're talking German managers, Jurgen Klopp's name's been mentioned as in his new role with Red Bull. Will that impact on you? Do you know anything about how that arrangement might work here at Leeds?
Not directly, because he was announced for Red Bull, and obviously there are a few Red Bull teams like in Leipzig and Salzburg, New York, and so on. We are Leeds United. So, and for that, I think it's clear. So he has a big impact also for the Red Bull clubs, and for us, not that much. That's definitely for sure. Because we are Leeds United, and I think no one of our supporters would allow that we try to copy something or try with a similar philosophy. And we are pretty unique club, and also have our own values, and also our own principles, and our own philosophy, our own way how we want to play. And this is definitely a topic, and this is also like, as long as I and as far as I know our owners, this is also exactly what the 49ers are standing for. They know how special this club is, and they don't want to copy someone else. And for that, we will always be Leeds United, and also a bit special and unique in our way. And as long as I'm in charge, I will also make sure that we stand for our own values. But on the other hand, it's always beneficial and good to have strong partners. And Red Bull is a really strong partner for us. And of course, once you have also like institution with so much knowledge about the game, so much knowledge about what is necessary to be successful in football, such a great network, such great resources, we would be stupid also not to use this, and we will also use this strong connection. I've got a really good relationship.
The Klopp news, I think this came out 2 months, not 2 months, 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. I think that is basically he's going to be an advisor. He'll look at tape, style of play. He'll probably might be in the background offering judgment on managers. And then, of course, he's he's obviously not too far separated from the club, and the fact that if we do get to the Premier League, I mean, you can start to dream about big time names like that. I really do believe that. So, I mean, Daniel Farke's kind of speaking on the 2 sides of his mouth here. He's kind of saying we're hey, I'm still here. This is our club. I have special values here too. And then he's also saying, and Red Bull's fantastic to have in the background because of their resources and PS, their owners. He's not going to piss off Red Bull, but I think he's kind of winding threading a needle here with this answer.
Also with Jürgen, and I also know he's also a world-class manager, but also an unbelievable, fantastic human being. And we're always in touch. And I knew whenever I had a question I wanted to ask about something, and I've also done it in the past to speak about a few players or whatever, I could always call him and got an honest answer. And the good thing is right now we can classify this telephone calls right now even as work related. So that's a big advantage. And what I also like, sometimes, when a manager is in charge in this everyday job, then you are a bit reluctant in order to annoy him that much, because you don't have time once you're in charge, and for that you're always a bit reluctant in order to ring him up to speak about a few things. I think in this new role he has much more time also to have a little conversation, and for that I think it's even beneficial right now also to have this conversation. But in our relationship, if I'm really honest, won't change that much. So we had a good relationship, and whenever there was the necessity to talk to him and to ask for some advice or to ask about a few things, it was always possible right now, and I think it's even more possible.
It sounds threatened. I think he sounds threatened by another for Klopp in general. I have a good relationship with him.
After this announcement, and I'm happy for Jürgen that he's happy with his choice.
That's my German section over with now, thank you. Can I talk about the derby? A big game coming up so soon after an international break. How much is that hampering your preparations with players coming back late, players maybe injured, unavailability of people? How are your preparations going?
Yes, it's always tricky during the
meat and potatoes. Here we go. Come on.
International break, especially for a team with so many players away. I think we're 12 players more or less away for the international duty. I also spoke about my attitude. So
two of them are the ones that really matter. I think Aaronson and Firpo are the ones that really, because of the travel, are away, like out of the continent. And I'm sorry, Ao Tanaka.
Sometimes struggling also to understand the fixture list, also to play on a Friday evening after international break. We have players who will just arrive late today, so we'll just have them back here at Thorpe Arch just for tomorrow. But a few players even played in the early hours this morning or even late last evening. So once you play on Saturday, you have at least one training session together with the team. So we play on Friday evening, even tomorrow. For several players, it will just be possible to have a
I mean, the other thing is like this happened last time. We have to be the Friday back of the international break. Like, we have the most players away, and they're giving us the Friday. They can't even give us the Saturday early morning game. They give us the Friday night game.
Recovery session, and that's it. So literally you go into the game without having one proper session together with the whole team. And it's a bit disappointing and sad, because it's a great game. It's more like a game, Leeds United against Sheffield United, great game. And normally both teams want to be at the best, and then to play it on the Friday evening after national break is a bit disappointing, but it is like it is. We also know about this schedule list, and we have to adapt to it. And for that, no complaints. Of course, it's always a bit tricky without training or without proper team training to prepare in the best possible way. But we try to find some good solutions. And nevertheless, we want to be at our best on Friday evening and want to win as many points as possible.
Finally, from me, can I just ask you to reflect on your start? 9 games in, I think once you play Sheffield United and then Watford very shortly, you'll have played everybody in the current top 6, and your league position suggests you've made a solid start. How would you assess the way you've started so far, bearing in mind who you've played?
Yes, to be honest, I'm not so much in analyzing mode, because I'm always looking forward for the next game. I also want to make sure that we are successful in the next game. But overall, you have to say it was a tough start in terms of the fixture list, and even a bit tougher in terms of fluctuation, a bit more fluctuation than we actually wanted to have in this summer, with many key players who have left and several late incomings. I think for that, it was overall, exactly like you said, a really good start. We're competitive in each and every game, I think.
I mean, how do you agree with this? Do you agree it's been a good start? I guess it's been tough. It's been very stop-start because of these international, it's just, you can't get over these international breaks. I feel like coming off an international break and then having Burnley, coming off an international break and now having Sheffield United, it's been, feels like, it's very Leedsy, right? It's very, it's just very, of course, we have the toughest games after, all of our players out. And I would also say, we'll see after this. This is an important match. If we drop points here, if we don't get any points, I don't know how great of a start it's actually been. The other thing is he has a much weaker squad. Let's make no bones about it. He has a much weaker squad than last year. I mean, I thought it would be not as strong as last year, but I think it would be good enough to get up. Now with the injuries, and they probably are, quite honestly, let's be brutally honest, they are season-long injuries. I mean, Ampadu is supposed to come back after Christmas, but I think they are looking at surgery for him, quite honestly. And Gruev is gone. He will not be in a Leeds shirt, to my knowledge, the rest of the year. So, Jabby will have to be recalled. I mean, this midfield depth and back line depth is real, and it's going to be a slog to see. I mean, we thought it was going to be HMS Pistol League. I think these injuries and just the navigation of the international breaks have, I think, brought us to reality. At the end of the day, on paper, Leeds United still have a very strong squad and should be going up automatically, if not through the playoff. I mean, I know playoff is single elimination, but can we at least say we should go up through the playoff? I mean, we have to go up this year. We have to be one of the 3 clubs that goes up. So, much like last year, I'm commending him for a choppy start to the season, because it is choppy, but at the same time, you're at Leeds United. We have to be in the top 2.
I think it was also on the top level a bit annoying that out of our dominance against Portsmouth and also against Burnley, when we dominate the game more or less completely, that we didn't win these 2 games. Otherwise, our start could have been, in terms of points, even better. But performance-wise, it was on a really good way, and we are there with a solid start. Of course, it annoys a bit that we have so many injuries right now of key players. It's always a bit tricky, but just can praise the lads for what they've done so far. And we also want to make sure that we find some solutions, although players like Ampadu, like Gruev, like Wilbur are out at the moment and will be out also for a bit longer. So we are on a good path, but we have to stay awake and make sure that we're also competitive in the upcoming weeks and months.
Thanks for your time. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hi, Daniel. Just
There we go. There's Popey. Come on, get in.
on the team news, can we drill down a bit? So no Vuba, Ampadu, Gruev. What about Dan James, Manor Solomon, and what state, as far as you know, are Tanaka, Firpo, and Nonto in?
Yes.
Brass tacks. Thank you, Popey.
It's good news with Daniel James and Manu Solomon. They are since late last week back in team training. At least it's since late last week.
Okay. If they're back in training as of late last week, I would seriously consider starting Monor in the 10 because of Aaronson's just jet lag. Again, 24 at the beginning of the stretch, beginning of this, I was saying 24 hours ago, Aaronson was playing in a match. He probably got on a plane this morning and is landing in Leeds now or late last night. I would not play him. I would have him come off the bench. It's too late.
In major parts of team training, and during this week, they've trained more or less each every day. Obviously, Danny James was out for a bit longer, I think overall 6 weeks. So, of course, it's perhaps a bit easier for Mano right now because he was just out for 3 weeks. But overall, it's good to have them back, and we desperately need them also back as solutions in our offense. So definitely good news with them. Also some good news with Max Wöber because he's a bit ahead of schedule in terms of his rehab program. We expected him initially just being back after the next international break.
Wöber, I wrote off, so I'm shocked that there's anything here happening, news with him.
Right now we have hope that he could be even involved at some point before, so it looks good, but he's also definitely out of obviously also for the weekend. Yes, and we then need to make some late decisions because I have to wait till all the players are back. So we have trained today. with 14 players or 15 players, sorry, but also a few under 21 players were involved, and several players will just arrive late this evening or during the day tomorrow, and yeah, then we have to assess them. So far, no new injury news. That's definitely good, but we have to have a look and assess them in which condition they are back. Also due to the travel, and sometimes some of them have played in different time zones and areas. So we make some late decisions, but so far it looks like no one has picked up a new injury. So for that, it's definitely also some good news.
Have you had a chat with Elon Melier, and how is he
Praise the Lord on no injuries.
after the Sunderland game?
Yes, all right. Even last week we've spoken about this, but he's also meanwhile experienced on this level. And also with many games, we didn't have to analyze it so much. He knows that he has played a really good season so far with many clean sheets. And of course, it was more like, a situation. It happens, whatever, once in a lifetime to concede such a goal. But it happens. It's more like, of course, he was the most disappointed player in the dressing room. You are suffering for 2 or 3 days, and then you get on with it. And next game is coming, and he will prove again that he's such an important key player for us.
Can you tell us what the situation is with Czech Kouyaté?
This is a big game for Melier. I mean, so he's starting, right? I mean, if you had any question in your mind about Meslier starting, that's you get that out quickly. He is starting. He will be your starter, and he's got to have a clean sheet. He has got to have a clean sheet, and hopefully the Gaffer can back him up with a tactical plan that, I'm not saying close up shop and, have a, block against Sheffield United, but I do want to see some defensive, a defensive mindset, a real off the ball mentality that if we do lose the ball, that we're desperate to get it back. And there are no questions when the ball does get to our final third, that they really don't get a sniff. That's what I would like to see. 6 of you in the building, go ahead and smash the like. We're going to go for 100 likes on this stream. And this is my basically just I'm having a conversation with you, like at the pub or something. We're watching the Gaffers presser. And these are my kind of live reactions. I thought the all German questions in the first were, I mean, I don't know who that was from the BBC or what. That was just terrible. Finally, Popey is having his moment to have actual substantive questions with the Gaffer. Here we go.
You understand that the club and yourself are interested in. Is he someone that you'll sign? Is he someone that you want to sign?
I spoke, and he will prove again that he's such an important key player for us.
Questions about incomings. There's a Kouyaté. I don't even know how to say it, but Popey will say it.
Can you tell us what the situation is with Czech Kouyaté, who understand that?
Kouyaté. Yeah. I have looked at tape on him. He is a depth piece to me because we are so razor thin. There's a reason why he's on a free. All right, let's be honest. If he's on a free, I know he's an experienced club. He's in the, he's an experienced guy. He's in the, he's touching 40. I mean, he's 30, 6, 7, something like that. I'm 40, so no disrespect there, but there's a reason why he's free. There's a reason why he hasn't played a full match in a long time. So he is, he is a break glass in case of emergency, and they're wondering if it's an emergency like that big. They're probably going to recall Jabby. I think that's really a more realistic move than signing anybody on a free now, but we'll see what the Gaffer says.
The club and yourself are interested in. Is he someone that you'll sign? Is he someone that you want to sign?
I spoke about the situation quite long already, Adam. So as you know, I never confirm any names, and I won't speak about players who are not under contract for us, because I think it would not be respectful, not be professional to speak about players who are under contract for other clubs or right now are free agents. I just speak about our players, but I can speak in general about the situation, and it's definitely a pretty special and unique situation, because we are a bit short in numbers. We had a small group anyway, and due to the big injuries of Islam Badou and Ilya Gruev just within 3 or 4 days, and also a bit the long-term injury of Max Wöber, we have decided also to have a deeper look into the free agent market, and also can confirm that we had also, a deeper look, also some guests also in the last days here at Thorpe Arch to have a deeper look on it, and I think it's most important not to speak about names, but the profile is important, and especially we are a bit thin on.
Bobby's saying Christopher Kramer. I mean, that's the rumor, right? I mean, we if you watch Gier on Leeds United The View, he was speculating on that this morning. I'd love to have him. Look, I want depth there, but as far as like a savior, I don't think it's going to happen in midfield. I don't know. I'm more prone to, I mean, Portsmouth and Wayne Rooney have been praising Jabby. I mean, I maybe we can get one of these two guys to come back to come in on a free for depth that can give us maybe 20 minutes. But these are football players that will probably have tactical nous, understand Farke's tactics, be defensively sound, but I don't think they're as good as the starters, right? As good as Rothwell and Ao Tanaka, who are now the starters because of the 2 injuries. So we'll see. I think we should have not loaned out Jabby, but who could ever predict that the starting 2 holding midfielders would go down?
On the holding midfielder position, definitely, because Islam Badou was more or less our first choice. The backup would have been always Ilya Gruev, so both of them are not available. We are also a bit thin at the moment on the centre back position, because obviously Max Wöber is out and was more or less not really available since he came back in the summer, and although he's a bit ahead of schedule in terms of his re-up, I think we also have to keep in mind that Pascal Struijk had
Wöber not being available has really been like shocking to me. I really thought he could be a player that could be added to this side, and his. I mean, I don't know if it's not his fault. I mean, you hate to say that somebody's injury is his fault, but he was a player that I was looking forward to, much like Aaronson, to have a redemption story. And this guy he's been injured. And now it's like, I think he's like kind of like Ampadu, like they're pondering a possible surgery, season ending or big time major surgery, in which he'll have several months to rehab. So, I really hope that Wöber can salvage his season.
CV injury record in his CV. A player like Joe Roden went off, for example, also on 4 yellow cards. So in an ideal scenario, we would also bring a player in who is a specialist a bit more on the holding midfield.
Oh my God, Rodon's on 4 yellows. Holy Christ! Oh, I didn't know that.
Position, but he also can cope with the centre back position, but also he needs to add a bit experience to our team, and also needs to accept a role where he knows, okay, our main man when he comes back, Islam Badou, he's more or less the first choice, and we have also top centre backs. He's more or less would be there in order to come in order to be a backup solution to support us, to bring his experience, also to teach and educate our young players. We have some exciting young players also in this position, and he should come in with the attitude, no, I want to improve them. But also when we got the feeling, okay, the young players perhaps even a bit struggling with
there's a real possibility Charlie Crew gets minutes in this game, in the biggest game of the year. And that's not, I don't know, a bad thing. I'm a next man up mentality. It's like, Charlie, you've been preparing your whole life. This is your moment, kind of thing. But at the same time, things have a little gone tits up in terms of our squad depth, unfortunately.
With the pressure with delivering for such a big club like Leeds United, then when you have to play in a away game in front of 30,000 people against you, then to not crack under this pressure. So we need definitely also a player who has a bit experience and has also this mentality. And yes, this is what we are searching for. And it's not easy at this time of the year, but we have a few ideas, and I'm also carefully optimistic that we'll have a chance also to bring a good solution in the upcoming days or the upcoming couple of weeks. And but I can't confirm any names yet.
I can see him coming up. Bobby says I can't see him, Darko, coming back. I can see him coming back. I can. I think it's been rumored to I think they've checked in on that. I think that, and there should be a clause. Any good team would have a clause in January, but maybe not. I would like to see him come back but it depends on Ampadu. If his timetable is January, then I don't think he gets recalled. But if it isn't, if it's season long, I would look at Darko Jabi. He's becoming. I mean, I think Rooney said he's becoming one of the best midfielders in the league. So take that with salt. That's Wayne Rooney, right? His coaching nous has not been what he was as a player, to say the least. But high praise for a world class football player.
Thank you. This game against Sheffield United, what atmosphere do you think will be played in? There was all sorts of talk over the summer with Bogle coming and maybe Hamer, and then Pirro's name gets mentioned, and it was all getting a little bit feisty. But really sadly, George Baldock has passed away as well in the meantime. So how are you mindful of the atmosphere this game will be played in, Daniel?
Yes, it's always difficult when you have experienced such a tragedy, and I've also came up in several games against George, and you hear such news. It's difficult to speak about football because in this moment, our thoughts are just there with him and his family, and we're also suffering a bit. And even a few players of our squad have played against him and also with him. So it was unbelievable sad news, and was not easy. Also the first days, also like. To get on with it, because when you hear about such a tragedy, so you're lost there of words, and then football is also not important in this moment anymore. And I think it's also important to show this, and I also hope that we will play also this game, and when there is something in order to give a tribute to this, that you do this in the most respectful way, because the life of a human being is always more important than any point, and for that, that's quite important. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to speak then about football again, but yeah, you have to get on with it. And it's also, death is also part of life, and you have to get on with it. It's also in the sense of this player and his family that life goes further on, and I know it's always a bit a special atmosphere, and yeah, it has to be also a bit discussions and rivalry. It has to be. It's also part of why we love this game so much, especially when there is a local game. Then there has to be also a bit competitive atmosphere, and this is also what we all want. As long as everything is there in a respectful way, then it's also totally okay. But yeah, it's also a bit lots of talking. This has to be. So I would prefer. To play this game perhaps with a normal week, and then when there's a bit more spotlight on it, and both teams can prepare in the best possible way, because it's a bit tricky after an international game without training. But again, I expect a really good atmosphere against one of the best teams in this league, with a very, very experienced manager also. And I expect a difficult game. So in the last games, no team was able to score against them. No team was actually able to create a chance against them. It will be tricky to break them down, especially without training, to find some good solutions. But this is what we have to do, and we have to.
Sheffield United's on a run. They are. Let's take a peek at them. Let's take a peek. Farka basically answers everything I wanted to really find out, and that's what's what's the health like of the squad. But this is a tasty derby coming up against Sheffield United, and ready or not, as the Fugees say, as the Fugees rap group says, ready or not, here I come. I'm gonna find you. Are they really? Sheffield United Friday. That's 3:00 here on the East Coast. What is that? That's 5 hours behind you guys. 54% chance at a Leeds United win, 25% at a draw, and 21% at a Sheffield United win, says the bookies. Sheffield United not lost, I believe, at least in the last 5. I don't think they've lost this season. I'd have to look at their schedule and more in depth, but I believe they have not lost this season. That's a 2-0 win over Luton, a 1-0 over Swansea, a 0-0 at Portsmouth, a 1-0 over Derby County, a 2-0 over Sheffield United. So people have not created a lot of opportunities. A 1-0 over Watford, a 1-0 loss to Barnsley in the EFL Cup. So they have not lost a EFL championship game. 1-1 against Norwich, 2-2 at QPR. QPR had a red card, 4-2 over Wrexham, Preston, Huddersfield. So they are a defensively stout team, and I fully expect their best. They have had a full couple weeks to prepare. I don't think they've only had a few internationals, and this is going to be, quite honestly, I think even though this says we're the favorites in the game, I gotta say I think we're an underdog in this game. I really do. I think we're at home. That helps us quite a bit. But the fact that we just have had a short squad, a short week to prepare, guys on international break, managing injuries. This is a difficult game against a very defensively stout Sheffield United, who are quite honestly licking their chops. They're circling this as a cup final. I mean, their fans, I'm sure, are circling it as a cup final for them, and they will be bouncing off the walls if they get all 3 points. I mean, they're in second in the championship. They'll be looking to go first, and if they win, and they will be pushing Leeds United even further down. Even further down the table. So Dan James and Manor Solomon return from injury. Those are probably the biggest headlines, as this headline is great. Varka disappointed by Leeds versus Sheffield United scheduling. I'm sure the rest of England will boo and boo, all that stuff against Leeds, because no one has any sympathy for us, nor should they. I'm not looking for anybody's sympathy. I am a Leeds United fan. So it's us against the world, as it always is. What else can we say? Second versus fifth. It's big. It's big. This is a early big fixture. Predictions, let me know in the comments. What do you think? What is this going to be? Is this going to be, I think if Leeds United take it, I don't think we're going to dance on their grave. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0, 4-0 Leeds United win. This is going to be a tough championship slobber knocker, as my 3 yards in a cloud of dust, as they would say over here in American football. It's going to be I think it might be cagey in the beginning and cagey at the end, depending on the scoreline. I'm waffling, but I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm just being realistic. Just low time to train. I think you got question marks with Al Tanaka. I think the fullbacks are good to probably score for Leeds. Maybe a Jaden Bogle score, a Junior Firpo score. They've been adding some width and depth and some additional options in the final third. What else can I say? I think you're probably I would love to get a set piece goal. I don't think that's going to happen. Write that one off, right? Heck, Mateo Joseph coming off that hat trick. Can we maybe say him? And maybe a 2-1. Maybe we can go for an optimistic 2-1 because of Mateo Joseph's form, and Joel Perreault has been hot at the EFL. So maybe I like the 2 strikers to score, Joseph off the bench, Joel Perreault to start. Those are the 2 goals. And, Sheffield United eke one past us. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Leeds United victory. Up the Whites. I'll see you guys after the match. Smash the like. We'll go for 100 likes. Bobby says I'm on a draw. I want to say a draw too. I just don't think it's going to be. We can't say that it's going to be an absolute rout either direction, right? But that's my time. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I love Leeds. This channel is basically me at a pub. I can't talk about Leeds anywhere, so I've created a channel because I'm in the States and people, they don't know about Leeds like you guys know about Leeds. So smash the like, and it's a pleasure to talk about Leeds United, and drop comments in. That's what I live for, honestly. I'm not making money on the channel. I'm just here to talk about Leeds. Peace out. Love you guys.